Welcome to the Phantasmagoria panel of flesh. And I came up with that, come on. That's pretty good. Thank you so much for coming. And before we get started, I just want to touch on, this discussion is likely to touch upon the subject of sexual violence. I want to put it out there from the get-go that sexual violence is a horrible reality, but in my line of work, my name is Andrea Subissati. I'm the executive editor of Morgue magazine and the co-host of the Faculty of Horror podcast. I talk about horror movies, I think about horror movies, I dream about horror movies all night and day. And I'm of the opinion that horror fiction exists as a way for us to engage safely with the horrible reality and to be able to discuss these subjects that pertain to the experience of fear, dread, terror, etc. If that doesn't jive for you, I totally get it, but I just wanted to establish that right from the get-go. Now, please, let me welcome our special guests, the stars of Phantasmagoria and Phantasmagoria Puzzle of Flesh, aka Phantasmagoria 2, Tori Morsell, Paul Morgan Stetler, and other Paul, I didn't catch your last name.
I'm Paul Quinn, also known as Drunken Master Paul. I was at Sierra at the time in the tech support department supporting all this, and also I was recruited to be in Phantasmagoria 2 as a couple of characters in the background. So,
how cool is that? Give it up for our panelists. I am so thrilled to meet you guys. Phantasmagoria 1 and 2 were such a big deal to me, just because, like I said, if you're a horror movie fan and you're interested at all in gaming, like, this was a playable horror experience. And I had prepared here to give a quick recap of the games, but now I'm thinking it might be more fun to let you guys do it. Do you want to start, Tori?
Before we get started, I have a question. I'm curious how many people here played either of these games for the very first time when it came out originally. You raise your hand. Okay, good. Wait. Now, for those of you who saw it, keep your hands up. Now, for those of you who are 16 and under when you played, keep your hands up. Now, for those of you 10 and under, keep your hands up. And I just want to say to you people, shame on your parents.
You can forward your therapy bills to Paul, that's what he's saying.
So, Tori, why don't you talk about tell us about what Phantasmagoria 1's about.
Oh, I go first. Yeah, thanks. My character Adrian and her husband Dawn move into a house, and an entity is unleashed into Dawn, and Adrian has to figure out how to get rid of it. Basically, that's basically the story, right? Did I get it?
That's it. That's the easy one. Now it's your turn, Paul.
Yeah, I don't think I have I play a character. Phantasmagoria 2 is about a guy named Curtis Craig, who I played, who prior to the events of the game beginning, we see that he was committed to a mental asylum, or we know not what, and then flash forward a year later, and he's working at a pharmaceutical company, sort of copywriting, I think, and people, you get to meet his work co-workers and his boss, and he's got relationships with a couple of them, maybe 3, who knows, and then eventually people start to die and get murdered, and Curtis thinks it might be him, and then we find out whether or not it is him. I think that's the best thing.
I think that about covers it. I mean, checkered history with mental health, I tried to kind of take the time to explain the entire reveal, but I don't know that I completely understood it even after all these years, so that's fine.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
If you understood that film, then that game rather, then it's like 20 of my favorite horror movies mashed into one. There's a little bit of Cronenberg, there's a little bit of Hellraiser, there's a little bit of everything. But Phantasmagoria 1 is pretty much a straightforward haunted house yarn. And I think for those of us who are really experienced with the horror genre, it was rather conventional in that regard, even with the sexual assault scene. But to start at the beginning, what prior experience had you had with either video games or the horror genre?
zero experience with video games. And in fact, the first time I played this game was like 2 years ago with Paul. That was the first time. I don't know why I was afraid to play it, but I guess just watching myself on film, I had to get over that.
Sure.
But yeah, so that was, and I had so much fun playing it. And then as far as the other question was just horror in
The
general.
horror genre, yeah.
Oh,
Did you read it?
love horror
Oh, you
movies.
do? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love horror movies. So that
What are your
was-
faves?
The Omen, The Exorcist. I don't know if that's my favorite. I like some of these newer ones, and I always forget the one with the doll. What's that called?
Annabelle?
Chucky?
No,
Megan.
no. It's there's been a couple with Rose Byrne. What's that one? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, what is it called? I'll think of it.
Yeah, it's gonna hit you.
I was
at
worried this would
midnight
happen. I would
tonight.
just
That's
I'm
why.
really bad at remembering names.
Were you assigned any horror movies to watch as reference material for
No.
Phantasmagoria? No. Okay,
No.
well that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's so interesting because I would have thought that they would have kind of given you the haunting, right?
No, yeah, and I've read a lot of Stephen King.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Paul?
Yeah, I do like the horror genre. Video games, well, yeah, I was CR tech support, so I've been playing a lot of video games. But my favorites, I tend to lean towards the campier stuff. So Evil Dead series, especially Evil Dead 1 with Bruce Campbell's audio commentary. You'll never watch it without the commentary again. Trust me. So that genre, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, that kind of thing. I remember Rosemary's Baby being played on ABC Movie of the Week. So yeah, I was definitely too young to play this game at the time.
Yeah, I love that one. And The Shining. That was.
Oh, The Shining, yeah, definitely The Shining.
Video games, no, not much. I mean, arcade games and I think I played Madden with friends and Tetris and all that stuff. But never played, neither of us had ever played games before until only recently. And it's so cool. We've been missing out for a long time. There's so much awesome stuff out there. I am such a convert. And then horror, I get scared, it scares me too much. I don't have the thing in me that releases the endorphin of pleasure because the jump scares and the dread and the suspense, it's just too much. And so
You still get scared when Spaz jumps out.
oh God, I'm not getting
Spaz the
that.
cat.
That said, of all the I've seen, The Shining is that's the one that just really sticks with me. And I can keep watching that one.
That's a classic. So in light of that, not having so much experience in video games, I have to imagine a scenario where you get a call from your agent. And your agent is just like, hey, I got a gig for you, but it's a little different. How did those conversations actually go?
Yeah.
Well, I just was called into this audition with Peter Maris, the director, and I had auditioned for him for something else. It was like a movie or something, like maybe, I don't know, a few months or a year before or something. And he remembered me, I guess, and I just had no idea what I was doing. And I didn't even, it was just, I just read some scenes, and but I had no idea what I was getting into. Really, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It's a movie, but it's a game. But that sounds great. And then didn't really quite get it till I was in Oakhurst, where they shot it, and on the set, and saw the blue screen and the script, which was like this big, and then the video monitor to just, had it all be explained, because I just couldn't. It was hard to really know what you were gonna be doing.
Right. Because nothing existed like that
Yeah.
at the time, right? And so did it look like a script? Was it like a
It was like a
screenplay,
script,
format?
yeah. Mhm. But it was a lot of repetition,
Right.
a lot of, I can't remember how it was organized, because there were just many taking the matches out of the drawer, or just doing certain, grabbing the poker.
But those games, the scripts, they didn't delineate
I can't remember
the
how.
action from the gaming element. So the scripts included all of the mechanics that the player would eventually have to do. So as actors reading them, it was very confusing until you saw dialogue. You're, okay, something. I think that's me. I think that's where. So that they are like 300-page scripts, maybe more, maybe like 400. They were just these.
They were
thick,
huge, but I think it was written in order. Like it was written, like the
It was in order,
story
yeah,
was in order,
Right.
linear.
There's a copy in the FMV Museum of the whole thing in a giant binder.
There is?
Oh, wow.
Roberta
Oh, I
shared
have
it.
to look at that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish I had my
Yeah.
copy.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And so by the time Puzzle of Flesh came out, like you at least had the first game as reference. Did you check it?
No, I worked, I was an actor maybe a year or two out of graduate school, and I moved to Seattle because it was really a thriving regional theater scene. It was probably the second most regional equity theaters in the country outside of Chicago at that time. Unfortunately, it's not the case anymore. But so I moved there to, get my, that was the world that I was living in, as a theater. So I wanted to work there, get my equity card, and then maybe take all that and move to LA or New York. So I was doing theater, and so I knew nothing about Phantasmagoria or any of the games. I did nothing. It's just the world that I had no clue about. And I remember I had two gigs lined up out of town. One was in Arizona and one was at the Boston Huntington Theater in Boston. And that one, I was supposed to play Laertes to Campbell Scott's Hamlet. And I was very excited about that because I got to work with this big guy. And I get the call from my agent saying you need an audition for this role. And I looked at the dates and I'm like, well, I can't do it. She goes, yeah, it's a big thing. Just go in. You're probably not going to get it, but at least you'll meet the director and all that. So I went in and I think because I just didn't care that much, I was like, I went in pretty loose and I just did it, and they were interested, and I'm like, oh no. And and then I had a call back, and you could just tell they're like smiling at everything you're doing, and you're like, this normally doesn't happen. Normally they're like. So I went out, and then I got the offer, and I said I felt like I had to say no, but then she had to sit me down and go, you don't know what this is. You're in every single frame of a video game that's a movie, and it's a huge budget, and you're the star, and it's 6 months of SAG work, which is gonna
6 months.
It was supposed to be like 4, but it went over, and
A video game ran over?
yeah, that's right. That's a big story too about that our game had some funding issues near the end. So anyways, all that said, I had to turn that down and take this job that I really knew nothing about. And then when I got that script, that was pretty overwhelming because I only had a few months. Also, I found out I was supposed to, it was very quick because they had hired somebody. I was a replacement. And Bruce, I'm going to say his name wrong. Oh shoot, he's the coolest guy in the world. He was, if you saw the Stephen King film I'm going to do what Tori just did. I'm going to forget the name of it.
It's catchy.
I'll remember the name, but he has a big part in the Stephen King film. And they hired him, and he had it, and then another job happened at the last minute. He dropped out, and that's why they scrambled to find another person, and I got to be that guy.
Okay. And so can I call you Drunken Master, just
Yes, yeah.
for the point of clarity?
Certainly. Everyone else does.
I love
Drunken
it.
Master Paul, DMP.
So tell me what the climate was like at Sierra, like in between and around the creation of these games. Like such an ambitious project, such crazy budgets, such an interesting response to the first one, and then going into the second one. What was the air like around there?
Well, at that time, that was the mid-late 90s of Sierra, and that was kind of the heyday of Sierra, when they had the most juice. They're the biggest game company in the world, and they are really kind of pushing the boundaries, especially with Roberta and Lorelei doing these kind of full-motion video games, these big epic movie games. And from my point of view, I said I was in tech support, and so we were kind of well, you've seen Titanic? We were definitely the lower decks, beer included. And so that was kind of the vibe, is the company felt like it could do anything, and so it did. And fortunately, we had Ken and Roberta, who were willing to do that. It wasn't a publicly held company, so they could do whatever the hell they wanted.
Yeah.
And so we were doing this kind of stuff. So when Phantasmagoria 1 came out, I get called Phantas 1 all the time because I'm just used to
Less
that.
syllables.
Oh, I'm gonna do that too.
less syllables. So Phantas 1 comes out, and by the way, another piece of trivia you guys don't know, I wrote the tech support guide for Phantasmagoria 1. Yes. Thank you very much. A lot of it was update your drivers. Because Windows 95 came out at pretty much exactly the same time as Phantasmagoria came out. So we had a lot going on in tech support. But it was huge, and we were all super excited about it. What's this new thing? Came on 7 CDs, as I'm sure you guys know. And so a lot of our tech support calls were, no, you put in the next CD. Do that. No, it's not a cup holder, it's a CD thing, put it in there. And the story I told earlier is it was a huge success, but because of Sierra's return policy, which was 30 days, no question asked, the game could be played in a week. And so people would buy it and then return it and get their money back. So we had bins and bins and bins of Phantasmagoria that we all kept, and we weren't really allowed to give them out, we did anyway. But we're all very impressed because of that, knowing how many copies went out and how popular it was. The other part is from the tech support view is we were all taken aside right before it launched and showed the intense scenes because we knew we'd be getting calls on that. So the sexual assault scene, which we watch, okay, that's intense. Okay, and then the final scene. Everybody knows this game, right? We're not going to spoilers aren't going to bother anybody. Okay.
30 years ago.
Yeah, we're all good with that. So the scene where Tori gets an axe to the face, and that surprised everybody. I think Lorelai laughed, but that was setting the tone for this whole new thing, and we got to play it and such. So it was kind of peak Sierra at the time that these two games came out.
Right, but Phantasmagoria 2 comes out, and it's not like, it was different, but it's not like you leaned away from the sexy stuff. There was still some spicy subject matter in addition to the horror. Was that to say you didn't let the response to the first game phase you in terms of that optimism and that drive to just do something awesome?
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
I would love to hear that.
The beauty is that Roberta did the first one, and Roberta is known for King's Quest and Mystery House, and so not really an edgy gamer. And then the fact that Roberta Williams did Phantas 1 blew everyone's mind. What? Roberta Williams? Same person, right? And then the genius was that they handed it over to Lorelai Shannon. Who, I kid you not, you go to her office and said, Lorelai's office, where every day is Halloween. She had that on. And so Lorelai is fantastic and was a right person to take this franchise to the next level and expand on everything else. And because we had broken ground with Phantas 1, Phantas 1 walked where Phantas 2 couldn't run as far as the content and different places we could go.
So did anything surprise you about the response to Phantas 1 and the spicy, I can't not call it spicy stuff.
For me in tech support, not really. We had kind of dealt with everything. The response, I think one thing that surprised me more than anything was the lack of outcry that they were expecting.
Okay.
We didn't get many calls on that.
Yeah.
I mean, they pretty much marketed this as a horror game, so did you not look at the box?
It was banned though, where was it banned? Australia.
Australia, thank you.
They banned it.
Not anymore, they don't. So the lack of outcry, I mean, again, because people could return it, they did, but that gave us actually a great marketing point of how many came back, that's how many people bought and went after it. And then I think kind of the Streisand effect a little bit, where anybody who said, oh, this is a horrible game, it's got these scenes in it, and it's like adding the parental warning stickers on albums. Yeah, please do that. And then a million will sell.
Right.
So then we were very excited about Phantas 2.
Yes.
I'll get into how I got involved with it.
Oh, go for it.
Well, this is their panel. I'm just a tech support guy. I'm spackle in this world, okay? Filling in all the holes. Doing especially the full motion video games and voiceovers, the producers and directors would fortunately start hiring, like quality actors to do these. But they would also hire extras. Hiring extras meant calling tech support to see who didn't want to be on the phones that day. And so that's how we in tech support got involved in these games. And in my part, they asked for people, especially for the borderline scenes, and I had to go in and audition for that one. And then to Paul's note about running out of money, the person playing the creature, the Hecatome, bailed for the last blue screen shoot. And so they called me very quickly and said, Paul, you like putting on weird stuff. Would you mind coming and playing the part? And so I said, sure. And asked my boss if I could do it. He said, you're taking a vacation day. Thanks, Brad. And so I got fitted for custom teeth for this monster, which are in the FMV zone, which everybody needs to go to. We're just going to keep plugging that this entire time. And so the teeth are there, and along with some other props. So that's how we in support got involved with a lot of this. Is Sierra was saving money, and they knew we were game. We're all gamers, and the passion for being in these games was worth it to us.
Sure. Okay, so I have more questions, and I'm sure you guys have questions, but Paul was kind enough to share a scrapbook, some behind the scenes. You call it backstage, which is such a theater thing.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes that blew my mind, because this was very much shot like a film. It had the budget of a film, the techniques, the practical effects of a film, so I thought we'd go through these images and just kind of riff off them.
Sure, yeah, and we got stuff from Tori's games.
Yes, from Tori's, yes, I'm sorry. So yeah, remember that? Do you remember switching those CDs? And sometimes it was at a really inopportune moment, and I don't know about you, but my computer was like, oh, and I thought, come on! So we've all heard of green screen, but you guys had a blue screen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was blue. And yeah, there was just, basically our bed was a big plank, big wood plank, and we had very few props. It was just all blue screen, and
They showed you
they showed us what it was going to look like where we were standing on the monitor. So they showed us, it was kind of a rough image. It wasn't quite finished yet, but we could kind of tell where our character was.
Right, so I guess there wasn't much of a set. There was just kind of this blue room, and then whatever props you needed to interact with.
Yeah.
Now, I think the reason that it's usually a green screen is because it's the color least likely to be used in another way. Why blue and not green? Do you know, Drunken?
I think it was just a matter of the technology. It started with blue screen, back in the day,
Gotcha.
and then I think as technology improved, it turns out that green screen was a little bit better to key off of rather than blue.
Gotcha.
I don't know technically why, but that changed in, I'm thinking, the late 90s, early 2000s when it switched over to green screen.
Okay.
And I think it's just a technology of what color is easier to pick out.
Yes, gotcha.
And anybody who does video more than me, please let us know. And let us know in the comments below. And we'll answer that as soon as we
Like
can.
and subscribe. So yeah, here's Tori, this is you looking at an old book.
Yes.
And I guess even your counter is blued out so that they could make it an elaborate altar. And then you've got, you can see you've got the mic out in front there.
There's the vacuum, the wind effects of the vacuum.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Oh, is the evil being unleashed right now?
I don't know, because we had a fan. What were they
It
doing
looks
with
like
the
you're about
vacuum?
to, you just used the big book that you opened and...
Yeah, they're
That's
just
when I
pulling,
see it.
they're pulling the pages.
That's when the demon comes up
And
and
see.
it goes, "Rah."
Yeah, I think
okay.
the vacuum was pulling the pages, turning the pages maybe?
And it's an actual vacuum.
Yes.
Look at that guy. He's cute. So he's was he actionable? I don't remember in the game. Did you actually interact with him, or?
I don't remember
You don't know?
that.
Okay.
I just don't remember that. I think,
Did they even tell you that was behind you, or?
yeah, I don't think that moved. I mean, I don't think it was
You drop it on Don's head. Yeah.
See, the fans know. Should have you all up here on this panel. What are that?
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, okay, wait, this is, let me see.
This looks like Dexter's killing room.
You know what this is? I think that's the pipe. You know, when I'm climbing on the pipe, and then because it bursts, the pipe bursts and the water comes out, so this is where the water was gonna spray,
Okay.
and that's why they have it all.
Uh-huh. And the vacuum's back?
Is the vacuum back?
Wet
Oh,
back.
yeah.
A wet vacuum in this case, yeah. What is happening?
Oh my God, what is that? Is that when they were filming?
The hands? Is that the hands coming up?
No, see, that's what, I think they were filming through was that when they were filming the girl in the pond? They filmed it through the water? That might be when they were filming. You know, when you see the girl floating in the pond?
Yeah.
I think they were filming through the water.
Okay.
I might be wrong.
I mean, like all of I'm hoping to paint a picture of how, not DIY, but how very practical it is. Like even when you brought up Raimi before the fact, like this was a practical effects horror movie.
Yeah, I mean.
There she is.
The mask, I had to go in and have this plaster put over my face.
I hear that's awful.
And it was so scary because I'm claustrophobic.
Of course.
So they put straws in your nose and your mouth, and he goes, now if you start to panic, if you panic so much, we'll cut you out. But please don't. So we'll have to do it over again. And it all worked out.
Yes, I've interviewed many horror pros who can't get through that, so good on you. This photo is hilarious. Was it weird to see yourself? You said you only played it for the first time 2 years ago. It must have been wild to see yourself getting split in the head.
Yeah, I mean, I'd seen some of it, like I'd seen bits of it, but yeah, it was crazy, and it looked really realistic.
It really did. Like it holds up. Oh. When was the first time you played the game front to back?
I guess 3 or 4 years ago. So, I mean, I guess I run a YouTube channel called Conversations with Curtis that was hatched during COVID. So, Tori and I had never met, and unbeknownst to each other, neither of us had played our games, and we both were this isn't the world that we were in, and so because FMV didn't really take off, we just continued doing what we were doing, so didn't know if this was having an impact on anybody, quite honestly. And then for me, there was a really great, I had found out about a wonderfully funny playthrough of Phantasmagoria 2 in 2008, Spoonie's, So he did this incredibly funny sort of Mystery Science Theater 3000 that I heard about. People started reaching out to me like, "Are you Curtis Gray?" And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I had heard that there was a spoof, which I think the game totally deserves. But I was also not sure I wanted to be the one that I don't know. I just felt like maybe it was mean-spirited, and I didn't want to be in on it. So I just stayed away. And then, long story short, during the pandemic, I realized it was the 25th anniversary, and I thought, well, I'll just reach out. That's why some of these photos came in. I'll reach out to some of the people who made these games, get their memories, and it was just really fun and really cool. And then once we finished kind of going over my game, people were still hungry for more, and that's when I reached out to Tori, and we met for the very first time. And you were just like me going, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so we played my game, and then we met Tori, and there's a great interview of Tori on our channel. And then we play her game together. And if you ever want to see two people who know nothing about how to play video games, can't get out of a house because we don't understand where the doors are, it's some good.
It
good
could be
screaming.
torture a little bit to watch,
But yeah, we never played. Yeah, it's all new to see it.
These games are about torture, and that actually reminds me, one of the most innovative things about Puzzle of Flesh was the kind of having that email interface. Like that was part of the terror when you're a little kid. It's like, is this what lies ahead? Is this office work?
I love that. Oh gosh, yeah.
You include, is this your planner?
Yeah, so when I first, when I put a deck together when I first did the YouTube thing to sort of say, here's my memory. So this was and I just sent everything to Andrea, and she grabbed some stuff. So this was my day planner, and I don't know what happens there, but I think I had just gotten the job.
A lot happens. I see Chicken Soup Brigade,
Oh, yeah.
and then you went to the gym, and
Well, that's not what
This was, New Year's Eve is at the bottom of the left-hand thing, and you drew like liquor, like with the X's
Yeah, right.
and fireworks and a martini glass.
But I think the main thing is that one is I had an audition for a game, I think, right? That was,
I don't think this was your, I thought that this was illustrating
Oh, I started
your
with
long
work. Oh, those are my
days.
days.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
7:45 to 7:30,
Yeah.
8 to 7:15.
Yeah,
that's
that's
crazy. But you did give me a lot of other pages,
Okay,
including
that's
the,
cool.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So long days
Yeah,
was,
long
was
days.
the point of this
Blood
slide.
at the top?
Yeah.
No, yeah, probably it's horror blood.
Like that? Look at baby Paul.
They fitted you out with the contacts. I'd never worn contacts before. We had to do those and the milky white ones. And
Yeah.
it was so weird having. With the milky white ones, I became blind, so I had to be led around the stage. But these-
Yeah. So speaking of Phantaz 1 walking so that Phantaz 2 could run, you had to do crazy prosthetic, a lot of physical stuff. Like that. We all remember this scene. And there's Therese. No, see, this doesn't look like your typical blue screen set that we were seeing for the first one.
No, we got really lucky that after the success of
You got lucky.
Phantasmagoria 1, and it did very well, it allowed for this. And Andy Hoyos, who was the art director for Phantasmagoria 1, so all those virtual sets were his, he really wanted to direct this, and and so the big thing for him was he didn't want to do blue screen. So this is a huge soundstage in Bellevue, Washington, and they built practical sets. The only green screen we did was at the end of the game when Curtis goes into the threshold. And for those of you who've played the game, it's the funding having dried up for various reasons, and I don't know all the answers to, but they went over budget, and so that was supposed to be a much more dynamically visual extravaganza that they had all laid out and all kinds of scenes that never got filmed. But that was the only green screen. Everything else was on location or on set. So for me, I felt like I was making a movie. It just was very, there was nothing about it that felt. I had none of the experience that
Yeah, I mean,
Tori
it was so hard to figure out how to act in that situation with just on this kind of stage with a blue screen and no set and just like kind of an echo in the room.
you had it rough. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And furthermore, this is one of your aforementioned spicy scenes. We've got the actor playing Therese on the right there. Like nowadays, when things get a little racy in film, there's all these specialists to make sure everything is, well, not consensual, but that everyone's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a question in there somewhere.
Did you have a safe word?
I think that this game is definitely, it touches on a lot of sexuality and otherness and kinks, and it's very unapologetic and sort of in many ways celebratory of those things. And there's so much to this game that has is groundbreaking things to Lorelei, but it's really kind of tame if you think about it. We didn't have to do a whole lot. It was pretty risky for a video game, but if you were to compare it to R-rated movies or such, it's not that much. So we didn't ever put ourselves in a situation where I would think that either of us were like not sure how to handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Like this scene, they had a crane behind the wall there that would, it was like they would lift me up. You could hear the, and because there's no back support, they would lift me up for like 2 or 3 minutes. We did the scene, and then they have to lift me back down. So when you see that Therese has rigged this thing in his room while he was out for a couple of hours, that's a pretty impressive job.
Yeah.
How did you find the studs? I don't know.
Paul, do you remember the scene at the Borderline, the sex scene at the Borderline? Shooting that?
The one that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, as you say, in modern times, there's people around to make sure everything is safe. They brought in a bunch of extras that put us in makeup, and we surrounded him and watched him the entire time. And I seem to recall there was a little tension in the room for that scene. I don't know what your point of view was on that.
I don't remember. No.
Yeah.
Repressed. Deleted. This looks like it could be behind the scenes of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Especially that guy on the right there with the head injury. But like, this practical effects makeup looked incredible in the game.
Yeah, I don't know why his name's. I would love if somebody looked him up. But the person who did the makeup for this was incredible. He did all the makeup. He did all the practical monster effects. That thing that comes out of the ceiling right on top of the inspector's head. And then the hecatomb and all that. He did it all. Him and his wife put that together, and yeah,
Amazing.
It was incredible.
Look at that guy. Just look at him. This could be pulled straight out of Hellraiser. It's super impressive.
And you can see why he didn't want to come back. So I don't remember this. I have a fairly good memory of there's a lot of things about the game that I remember and the people and experiences, but I don't remember. So what happens here, I think, is Curtis, and this is where the whole thing gets hazy, and if we do Q&A, I would love to find out what happened at the end. But Curtis, as a boy, was thrown in, and then a clone was spit out, and that's who we've been living with. And the real Curtis has been rotting in this threshold hellhole the whole time, and he's angry and wants to get the other Curtis back, but we've gotten to spend all this time with him. And then he goes back in, and something happens, and then when he pulls the thing off, he's got to see himself, right? So when they pulled the mask off, so I think at this point, both Curtises are facing off. Is that right?
That's
Okay.
right.
I think that's it. So I had to put that
Nicely
on.
done. Yeah. Hell yeah.
And those were the shoes that I was on.
Okay.
I remember that.
Yeah.
When you had to wear that because I had to wear it to reach the hand of goo up that you stopped.
Ah, okay.
And then you shot reaching up to rip, well, your face off, mine at the time. And then I don't remember if I was there when they put you in it. I think I was when they swapped us out. But that was when I had to jump in as the emergency stun double for another stun double. So yeah, that's where the blue screens.
That's great.
It was there.
That's great.
And here's where I wanted to talk about your playthroughs. Did you guys say you did another one this morning?
Yeah, we did one this morning in the FMV Museum, and it was some of us were all here. It was really fun.
We got through the first chapter.
First chapter, that's right.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but every time I come back to this game, I get something new out of it. Is that the case with you guys? Do you have like flashbacks?
Yes, well, this time I saw a couple of things in the mirror that I hadn't seen before.
Uh-huh.
Did you see anything there?
Yeah, the electricity behind us.
I didn't see that
things like
before.
Yeah.
And the electric chair flicker.
The electric chair.
Yeah.
All right, I'm told we have 5 minutes. I'd like to get a couple of questions in here. Can we make them snip, snap, snappy? Or none at all? Yes, in the back of the beard.
Yeah,
Beard in the back.
despite budgets being bigger and bigger actors, bigger studios, bigger special effects, and everything, and yet the FMV genre has kind of died out completely. Why do you think that is?
I think it's actually making a comeback, and I think in the UK especially, the game developers in the UK are making really interesting. If it's not, I don't know if I can say it's like full on FMV, but it's more like what's it called, like interactive movies. But still, there's some really cool stuff, and I hope it's just the beginning. I think that there's going to be more opportunities to at least create live action work that a player can interact and help figure out the outcome and do more exploring, things like that. But yeah, there's some great stuff. We played one called The Bunker not too long ago, which is, it was a pretty low budget, but it's really cool. And so there's some great stuff. Contradiction, Her Story, games like that. Just really creative ways to make them. So we're hoping that it continues to go forward.
Are you playing those on your channel? Is that
Yeah.
okay? You're
Yeah.
keeping up with it. That's great. You had a question. Go ahead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very similar to the previous question, but these two games were released when like the FMV was at its peak. How did you feel about these video games that felt like movies? Did you feel like, oh man, this was gonna last, or were you like, oh, I don't know how long this is gonna last, like a couple more years?
It's funny. I should have called Tori to because she has this stuff too, and I just forgot to mention her to bring hers. But at the last minute, I realized I had it. So I have a couple teeny little things I'll show you. This is a what is it? It's right here from the Los Angeles Times, November 30th, 1996. More than bit parts. It's got Gabriel Knight and Phantasmagoria 2 are coming out of the same year, I think. And it was basically saying CD-ROMs and online shows are increasing the opportunities for actors trying to make bigger names for themselves. So it felt like it was going to blow up at that point.
Yeah, it felt like that to me too. I can't believe I got to bring, I have a bunch of old magazines, but it was all, yeah, this is exciting, this is new, it's gonna really, it's cutting edge, it's gonna take off, and you know, I just wonder if, because things just became faster and it just went in the other direction because they could do it, so they got away from the FMV. I don't know.
I think that a big part of it is being on the tech side is that as games and game engines got faster and faster and better, the graphics got better and better. As you look at the games over the years, you'll see that the cutscenes were replaced by scenes programmed into the game engine itself. So it's actual game graphics. Even so with the promotional videos. Remember the promotional videos of the game look so cool, and then you see the game's like, eh. So I think we went in that direction where the games themselves are so powerful that the full motion video was replaced by the game engine. Now, to your point of them coming back, I feel that we have these things that shoot fantastic video. The technology now allows the full motion video to be as cost effective and easier because you don't have to program it. So the ability to go back to that with the modern technology, I think you're right, is can become more and more practical and more fun and easier to do. Then you have to program the game part, you don't have to program the video part. Right. So I think you're onto something, that this is, has potential to come back.
It's the analog, it's the VHS of video games, and I think like VHS and horror fans, it holds such a dear place in our hearts. So thank you so much for making it, all three of you. Thank you for making it out here.
I just want to say that it's very early on, and this may not happen, but my partner, Daniel, I'll do a conversation with Curtis, who's a wonderful game designer, and Tori and I have hatched an idea that we might turn into a Kickstarter program that would be a spiritual, loving follow-up. We don't have the rights, nor would, so we would have to find some creative ways to stay around it, but it would have Tori and myself in it, and once we are farther along, we'll do a Kickstarter. So if you want to be in on it, know about it, just follow us on Discord or YouTube, and that we'll be able to tell you more about it when that moves forward.
Take my money now.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and here are a few more videos for you to check out.